In the midst of the world's never-ending spotlight on Jungkook's career, a rare moment suddenly caught the attention of fans. Not because of the magnificent stage performance, nor because the music record was again broken. This time, what touched thousands of hearts was a simple but meaningful gesture, a unique way for Jungkook to express his gratitude to his best friend and groupmate, Jimin. For BTS fans, the relationship between Jungkook and Jimin is nothing new to talk about. Over the years, the two are known to have such a strong bond. But behind the jokes, small competitions, and funny moments that can often be seen on the screen, it turns out that there is a much deeper story of friendship than many people ever imagined. The moment happened simply, almost unnoticed by many at first. When a relaxing session takes place after their hectic activity, the atmosphere looks ordinary. The BTS members seem to be joking as usual. But suddenly, Jungkook did something that made the room seem silent. With a more serious expression than usual, Jungkook turned to Jimin. There is no dramatic music, no cameras deliberately directed to create a sensation. Just a sincere conversation that arose out of nowhere between two best friends who have gone through a long journey together. "Thank you," Jungkook said in a softer voice than usual. The sentence sounds simple. But for those who understand the journey of the two, the words feel much heavier than just a simple thank you. Jimin looked a little surprised. During this time, Jungkook is known as a figure who often expresses his affection through actions rather than words. They may help quietly, laugh together, or offer support without saying much. That is why when Jungkook finally expressed his gratitude in person, many people felt that moment was so rare that a small smile appeared on Jimin's face. But the look in his eyes seemed to indicate that he understood the meaning behind the remark. Their relationship is not just co-workers. Since his stressful trainee days, Jimin is often cited as one of the people who understands Jungkook the most. When Jungkook was very young and just entering the harsh world of entertainment, Jimin was often around him, providing support, being a training partner, sometimes even a place for Jungkook to pour out his feelings to. In various old interviews, Jungkook once revealed that Jimin is one of the people who always works the hardest around him. He saw how Jimin trained nonstop, how Jimin pushed himself to be better every day. And perhaps that's precisely where Jungkook's respect for Jimin grew so deep. The fans who witnessed the cut of the moment then started talking about it on various platforms. Many said that Jungkook's thanks felt so sincere because they were not made up. It was not a moment planned for the camera, but rather something that came naturally from the heart. Some fans even referred to the moment as one of the real proofs of how strong the relationship between BTS members is. Their friendship isn't just for the stage, one fan wrote on social media. They are really family. But what made the moment even more touching was Jimin's own response. Instead of answering with long words, Jimin just chuckled and patted Jungkook on the shoulder gently. "Why is it suddenly like this?" he said with a smile. The atmosphere that had felt emotional immediately turned warm. The other members laughed along, as if understanding that what happened just now was something sincere, not a drama. But for many who saw it, the brief moment revealed another side of Jungkook that is rarely seen. During this time, Jungkook was often known as the Golden Magne, a nickname that describes his extraordinary abilities in various fields. She can sing, dance, and even perform on the world stage. But despite all that, he was still someone who appreciated the people who had walked with him from the beginning. Thanks to Jimin as a reminder that the journey to success is never done alone. For Jungkook, perhaps Jimin is one of the figures who is always there at important moments. Someone who understands the struggle without having to explain much. And for Jimin, perhaps seeing Jungkook grow into a strong and humble figure is already a pride in itself. That simple moment ended up spreading widely among fans. Many were moved to see such a sincere side of friendship between two great world stars. There is no big stage, no grandiose concert, no spectacular spotlight. Only two friends shared their gratitude. But precisely because of its simplicity, the moment feels much more meaningful. In an entertainment world often filled with competition and pressure, stories like this one serve as a reminder that behind great success, there is always a genuine human connection. And maybe that's why Jungkook's moment of thanking Jimin feels so special to so many people. Because behind the glitter of the global music scene, the two friends from South Korea showed something. Very simple, but very rare. Gratitude that comes straight from the heart. But the story of the rare moments between Jungkook and Jimin did not stop there. It was only after that simple thank you that many people began to realize that there was a much deeper story behind their relationship. A long journey that had been forged by time, hard training, and great pressure in the entertainment world with BTS. For those who have followed BTS's journey since the beginning, Jungkook and Jimin's relationship has always had its own color. They often look like two brothers who can never really be separated. Sometimes they compete in rehearsals, flirt with each other in front of the camera, sometimes even have small arguments over trifles. But behind all that, there is such a strong mutual respect. Some old fans even recalled the early days when these two idols were still going through their days as trainees. At that time, the pressure of training was very heavy. Sleep time is limited, rehearsals last for hours, and hopes for a debut feel like a dream that cannot necessarily be realized. It was then that Jungkook and Jimin's relationship began to take shape. Jimin is known as a very perfectionist. He is often seen practicing until late at night, even when the other members have started to rest. Jungkook, who was then very young, often noticed it secretly done on several occasions. Jungkook even told me that seeing Jimin's hard work made him feel like he shouldn't give up. He felt compelled to continue training harder because he didn't want to be left behind by Hyung, who was so dedicated. The relationship slowly turned into something more than just training partners. They become a place to encourage each other when the pressure feels too heavy. That's why. When Jungkook finally thanked Jimin directly in that humble moment, many people felt as if they were looking at a small piece of their long history of friendship. Some fans even referred to the moment as Jungkook's tacit acknowledgement of how important Jimin's role is in his life. After the moment was widely spread on social media, the discussion among fans was even more crowded. Many began to reshare various pieces of old videos showing how the two have always supported each other. There was a video when Jimin secretly watched Jungkook during vocal training. There was also a moment when Jungkook praised Jimin's dancing ability with admiration. Even in some interviews, the two often refer to each other as a source of motivation, all of which makes Jungkook's thank you speech feel like the final piece of a long-established puzzle. But what makes this moment even more emotional is the way Jungkook says it. No long speeches, no far-fetched dramatic words. Only two simple words came out sincerely. Thank you, Hyung. To some, it may sound familiar. But for those who understand Jungkook's journey from teenager to world star, the speech feels very deep. Jungkook is not the type of person who easily expresses his feelings openly. He often chooses to express his affection through small actions. That's why when he finally thanked Jimin in person, the moment felt so special. Jimin himself seems to understand that very well. It doesn't make the atmosphere too emotional. Instead, he responded with a warm smile and a light joke that instantly made everyone laugh again. But behind that smile, many fans felt that Jimin also felt the same happiness. However, the journey they took together was not an easy one. From a small stage to a stadium concert filled with tens of thousands of people, they have gone through it all together. They once felt uncertainty, fatigue, even doubt. But they also feel incredible happiness when their dreams finally come true. And maybe that's why the relationship between BTS members feels so strong.